Hello and welcome to the third week of this online course on environmental sociology. In this week, I will introduce two lecture videos. The topic for today's class is environment in classical sociological tradition, and the next lecture video for this week will be environmental sociology in India. So, let us begin with today's class. As we have discussed in the previous classes, the discipline of sociology and industrial revolution almost had their origin in the same historic period in Western Europe, and sociology as a discipline emerged to grapple the changing conditions that were confronting the Western society. The three most important sociologists, Emil Durkheim, Max Weber and Karl Marx, in their attempt to understand the social change that was taking place in Western society, have extensively dealt with the social transformation of their times. And environmental sociology, as we have discussed in the last two classes, has made a conscious criticism of classical sociology because of its aversion towards understanding environmental factors or ecological factors as a cause in producing social change. Yet, it is too simplistic to say that nature did not matter to sociology. It is pertinent to examine, it is pertinent to relook those classical sociologists or those works by classical sociologists, and then to see that how we can make sense of classical sociology to understand nature society interaction. It is in this context that in today's class we will relook classical sociology, specifically we will relook the works of Emil Durkheim, Max Weber and Karl Marx, and try to see that what sense we can derive from these classical sociologists to understand the nature society interaction. The present module therefore is an attempt to reread the classical sociological tradition, especially the works of Emil Durkheim, Karl Marx and Max Weber, to make a sense of their relevance to understanding the nature society interaction. Or in other words, we will try to see that in what way or how we can use classical sociology to make a sense of the nature society interaction. The major learning objective of today's module is to introduce to the students the environmental issues and concerns that emanated in the works of classical sociological theorists, especially that of Emil Durkheim, Max Weber and Karl Marx. This module aims to re-examine the works of these three classical sociologists from an environmental social perspective. After successfully completing this module, you will gain an environmental sociological perspectives to classical sociology, and you will also be able to trace the contours of environmental concerns in intellectual developments of classical sociological theory. So, in this class we will introduce three major themes. We will discuss about Durkheim and environmental sociology, we will discuss Max Weber and environmental sociology, and finally, we will discuss about Karl Marx and environmental sociology. So, therefore, to put it precisely, we will discuss that how classical sociology makes sense to environmental sociology, what insights we can gain from classical sociology in our readings of environmental sociology, which tries to make a sense of the interaction between nature and society. So, to begin the first part of this class, that is Durkheim and environmental sociology, we may say that the emergence of environmental sociology has been considered as a critique to the mainstream paradigm or mainstream discipline of sociology. Throughout the last 2 weeks, we have discussed that environmental sociology or emergence of environmental sociology was unique in a sense that this subdiscipline within sociology created or posed a challenge to the fundamental paradigms of sociology. The emergence of environmental sociology has time and again emphasized classical sociology's aversion towards understanding environmental issues. Different environmental sociologists have conceptualized this aversion of classical sociology in different manners. Frederick Bottle in his work have said that it is Durkheim's social fact dictum that has led sociology astray. It is Durkheim's idea that social facts should be studied, should be understood with the help of other social facts, that has led to a kind of tradition in sociology where environmental factors has been neglected in understanding social factors. Similarly, John Hanningen says that Durkheim is least likely to be recognized as an environmental commentator due to his ordering of social facts, because Durkheim has ordered the social facts and considers social facts as important compared to other facts, and it is social facts which generate social processes or social changes. So, therefore, understanding social facts are or understanding social fact is important. Similarly, Dollop and Cartan also say that environmental sociologists depart from the traditional sociological insistence that social facts can be explained only by other social facts. In other words, it is environmental sociology which has emerged as a critique to the mainstream sociology. It is especially mainstream sociology's insistence on social fact, on the paradigm that social changes, social factors should be examined with other related social facts, that has been the central point of departure for environmental sociologists. Environmental sociologists try to develop a kind of sociological analysis, try to develop a kind of sociological paradigm where social processes are essentially determined, are essentially influenced by natural factors or by environmental factors. However, as I just mentioned, it will be too simplistic to say that Durkheim does not make any sense to environmental sociology, or Durkheim sociology does not make any sense to understand the nature society interaction. In today's class, let us reread Durkheim, let us relook at the works of Durkheim and let us see that what sense we can make of his scholarly work to understand the nature society interaction. We should understand that the crucial goal for Durkheim in his analysis of social fact was to establish sociology as a science in its own rights. So, Durkheim, as the founding father of sociology or as the founding father of classical sociology, had the objective of establishing sociology as an independent branch of knowledge. So, therefore, Durkheim's aim was to establish sociology as a branch of knowledge which is different, which is distinct from other disciplines of knowledge. So, like Durkheim mentions in his classical book, The Rules of Sociological Method, that the science can justify its existence only when it has for its subject matter an order of facts which the other sciences do not study. So, in other words, any discipline or any branch of knowledge can establish itself only when it has a distinct subject matter, only when it has a distinct reality to examine, and for sociology that reality was social fact. And Durkheim defined social fact as ways of acting, thinking and feeling that are external to the individual and endowed with the power of coercion. So, therefore, social facts are characterized by these two fundamental factors, that social facts are external to individuals and social facts impose a kind of coercion on individuals. And again, to quote Durkheim, these ways of thinking could not be confused with biological phenomena, since they consist representations and of action, nor with psychological phenomena which exist only with individual consciousness and through it. They constitute thus a new variety of phenomena, and is to them exclusively that the term social ought to be applied, that social facts can be studied with other social facts, and the core subject matter of sociology is understanding social facts, and social facts should be distinguishedly separated from that of psychological facts and biological facts. So, when we understand Durkheim's social facts, or when we reread Durkheim's Rules of Sociological Method, we can draw a conclusion that the emphasis of Durkheim in his analysis of social fact was to establish the discipline. What was Durkheim's main objective? What was Durkheim's fundamental challenge? Was to establish the discipline of sociology as an independent branch of knowledge. So, therefore, when Durkheim says that social facts should be distinguished from biological facts and psychological facts, his intention was not to deny that environmental facts are not important. Durkheim's intention was not to deny that environment does not matter for sociology. Rather, Durkheim's idea was to establish sociology as an independent branch of science to study the society. Durkheim did not in fact reject non-social facts. In his analysis of social facts, if we see it more carefully, Durkheim did not reject non-social facts, for example, the biological facts or psychological fact, but made a order of facts, where Durkheim says that facts should be maintained in order, where social facts are considered superior than other facts, where social facts and causes remain much more important than other facts. So, therefore, Durkheim's analysis or Durkheim's sociology does not in any way reject non-social factors in analysis of social phenomenon. Rather, he maintains an order of facts where social facts and social causations are relatively important than other facts. And again, biological and psychological facts became subordinate to social facts. In this ordering of social facts, biological facts and psychological facts remain subordinate to social facts, and it is social facts or social causes that emerge or that remain as prominent in Durkheim's analysis. So therefore, Durkheim recognizes non-social facts, but do not consider them as causes of social phenomena. Now, from Durkheim's work on rules of sociological method, when we see his work, the division of labor in society, perhaps Durkheim becomes more important for environmental sociologists. Durkheim in his work makes a fundamental analysis of society, where society transforms from that of mechanical solidarity to organic solidarity. So therefore, Durkheim's frame of reference or Durkheim's frame of analysis for social transformation is that society transforms from mechanical solidarity to that of organic solidarity, and with these social transformations or with this transformation from one kind of solidarity to another kind of solidarity, there is a transformation from shared values, from shared cultural norms to that of individualism or emphasis on individual factors or individualism. And again, Durkheim identifies certain causes, certain causal factors for this social transformation. According to Durkheim, what is held responsible for this transformation from mechanical solidarity to that of organic solidarity? And Durkheim says that it is because of increasing population, it is because of increase in the moral and material density of the population and division of labor. So therefore, division of labor and increase in population remains as the crucial factors which determine transformation of society from that of mechanical solidarity to that of organic solidarity. And in this process of transformation, what Durkheim emphasizes is specialization, that society becomes more and more complex, society becomes more and more specialized, and division of labor emerges prominently in society. And if we see this work, or if we relook this work from an environmental sociological perspectives, we may understand that Durkheim becomes so much relevant to understand nature-society interaction. In other words, Durkheim becomes relevant for environmental sociological perspective. So if you see Durkheim's frame of reference, if you see Durkheim's social transformation from that of mechanical solidarity to organic solidarity and this process of division of labor, we may understand that these social transformations may be understood as coming to terms with the rising population and scarcity of natural resources. So therefore, when Durkheim says that society is transforming from mechanical solidarity to that of organic solidarity, what we need to understand that this transformation, this change from one kind of society to another kind of society may be examined, may be understood as coming to terms with the changes in society, coming to terms with the rising population and scarcity of natural resource. Because we need to understand that as resources become scarce, as resources become limited, it becomes scarcer for the community as a whole to attach themselves with a particular resource. Or in other words, as population increases, it becomes perhaps difficult for a community to attach to a particular resource. That resources are enough for individual units, but not for the community as a whole. We can make sense of Durkheim's work to environmental sociology this way, that as society progresses, as population increases and resource becomes scarce, so in this kind of situation where resources are becoming limited and population is increasing, perhaps it will become difficult for community as a whole to associate with resource. Secondly, when we see Durkheim's work or when we see Durkheim's division of labor, we also realize that Durkheim's division of labor or Durkheim in his work trying to find a solution to the emerging crisis of his time. If we can quote William Catton, Catton says that Durkheim's theory was very much an attempt to devise a solution to what is essentially an ecological crisis of rising population paired with scarce resources. So what William Catton says is that Durkheim sociology may be understood as devising a solution to the rising problems of the society, the rising problems of population and the rising problems of scarcity of natural resources. We can understand that as society became larger and denser with increasing population, with increase in the moral and material density of population, as societies became more denser, it would have been disastrous if everyone had continued to depend upon agriculture. So therefore, division of labor and specialization perhaps was a solution to the ecological crisis of the time. So therefore, occupational specialization, transformation of society from one kind of solidarity to another kind of solidarity was perhaps a solution to the ecological crisis of the time. It was a solution to the ecological crisis of rising population, and it was a solution to the ecological crisis of resource shortage. As the population increased, or with a rising population, it may become difficult if everyone would have involved in agriculture. So, with the division of labor, occupational specialization, perhaps society found a solution to the ecological crisis. Second, we also need to understand that occupational specialization also meant that competition over arable land was lessened. What William Carton tries to say, that Durkheim's sociology or Durkheim's analysis may be relooked in this way, that with division of labor or with occupational specialization, this meant that competition over land was lessened. Otherwise, what would have happened is that if everyone would have involved in agriculture, if everyone would have been clinging to agriculture, then perhaps there would have been more competition for land. So, with this occupational specialization, as society moved from one kind of solidarity to other kind of solidarity, that found a solution to the ecological crisis of their time. So, therefore, what I am trying to say, that it will be too simplistic to say that Durkheim sociology had less relevance for understanding environmental social interactions. Durkheim still remains relevant in environmental sociology, and what is required is that we should relook, we should reread Durkheim's sociology, or we should reread Durkheim's work and try to see that how it makes sense in understanding environment social interaction.